This is how you install Trepanel's 3D Aqua waterproof boards. This version is Trepanel's 3D brown smoked oak wood effect. Okay, so we have the smoked oak along here, and we have the recesses which are sunken in with the matte black finish. That's what gives it the flute effect on here. Size-wise is pretty similar. It's 2.4, that's 2,400 millimeters in length. The width though is only 200 millimeters, so that's about 8 inches all in all. And the thickness of it is the same as the other panel, 12 millimeters thick. The back of these aren't flush like the standard flush panels. This has a fluted effect. So when we apply this to the wall and we're applying the adhesive on the back of it, we must apply it on the raised areas on here, and that way it's going to key to the surface that little bit better. We start off on the left hand side of the wall with the wood effect, and we leave the tongue showing here, so the second panel will lap over the top of the tongue. Now I'm going to start from my left hand side here. So the first thing I'm going to do is push one of my boards up. I don't need to cut anything down at this point, but I'll go into cutting later on. I want to check that it fits flush with that, taking my spirit level and placing it up against it to check that it is perfectly level and it doesn't need any scribing off the side, because what you want to do is make sure that that fits up nice and tight and snug. It will be sealed with silicone. However, this second piece that comes across needs to be perfectly level. The adhesive I'm using is a powerful hybrid polymer adhesive. It has maximum strength and maximum adhesion. It's perfect for these type of jobs that could be exposed to damp conditions. Pressing it nice and firm with your hands over the hole areas. So each one of them flutes at the back, which is covered in adhesive, is going to grab well to the surface. One double check with your spirit level, see that you're happy, and then it's just repeat on the rest of the panels and work them way across. Now with this second plank, the first line of adhesive you're going to apply is in this little groove here, because these are acting similar to a tongue and groove. We've got the tongue on this edge, and if we apply the glue on there, when we bond that to the wall, it gives a nice sealed edge then between the two actual boards. So make sure we get one line in there, and then we apply it as usual to the back of the high sections of the board, which is available online or install at Walls and Floors. So we lift this second piece on, place it at the bottom first, just lapping up, and it'll sit nice on top of that tongue, and that adhesive behind there, the first line we put on, will mould into it really well. So I'm pressing this way, but also applying weight on the face of the board, so I know that all the adhesive at the back is going to grab nice and flush to the surface. Now, if you have any adhesive that may come out between them joints, just wipe it off with a silicone wipe before it dries. And that'll give you almost, or more or less, an invisible joint. Trepanel's long-lasting waterproof Aqua panel really are quick and easy to install. These smoke oak wood effect aesthetics adds that splash of style to any interior. Crafted from 90% recycled cutting-edge polystyrene composite, so they're rigid, hard-wearing, easy to clean and maintain, as well as being eco-friendly, making them suitable for interior walls that require that extra waterproof solution. That is one wall complete in about 30 minutes. Now I'm going to turn my attention to the opposite wall, where I do have to do some cuts around a door and a frame. Now my first 5 panels were like the opposite side, there was no cuts involved. However, I have now met the door frame, which of course will need cutting around. So once you've got these fixed into place, the simplest way of doing this is to take your measurements, top, middle and bottom, and then transfer them across onto your panel. Alternatively, if you can take it past it, here at the bottom here, you can probably see, once I push it up, it can be almost pressed into the tongue and groove, and then it can be marked on here, and then same again on the top. I'll bring it down that way, it can be pressed into the tongue and groove and then marked on there. And of course, you transfer that level all the way down, ready to cut. However, bear in mind, you do want it to go around the corner of there. So place it on the floor and then transfer your line across that way. And I just want to point out, just like the other boards I fitted on this wall here, the thickness and the density of these Aqua wall panels really are impressive. Honestly, over the years I've fitted hundreds and hundreds of them, and a majority of them have been hollow in the past, lightweight, and nowhere near as rigid or as heavy as these. So quality wise, they're the best I've seen for sure. So once you've cut it, always double check that it fits before you put any glue on the back of it. And there, a little bit dusty, yeah, that fits absolutely perfect for me. It's okay to have a millimetre or two discrepancy and a little bit of movement as well for changing the temperatures, of course. And if there is a tiny gap, that can be covered at a later date once it's dry with your silicone sealant. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to lay it down and apply my adhesive on the back, just like we did with the rest of them. Now we need to do, measure above the top of the door, cut down a handful of pieces and fix them on the same way. Mark your cut with a pen and a set square. I'm cutting this section down with a handsaw, or you could of course use a jigsaw or a circular saw if you have one. Apply your adhesive on the raised slats at the back, as well as the top and bottom of the cut sections, just for that extra strength. Now we've bridged over the top of the door, the next stage is to cut an L-shaped piece, exactly the same as what we did there, from the top all the way down to the bottom. And remember, measure twice, so you only cut once. This narrow cut may look a little thin and flimsy, but don't worry. These slats are super strong material, and once glued and fixed into position, there won't be an issue. Now I'll finish off the rest of the area with the full length to complete this side of the adjacent walls. I hope it's inspired you to do it yourself, but if you need more information about the products or to see the vast range of products that they do, head straight over to the website wallsandfloors.co.uk.